Today is July 16th, and my name is Dan Harrison. Probably know that if you're here for this. Today is our Unity Forum. This is the time that we take pause during a crazy weeks that we've been experiencing with anxiety and confusion and COVID looming around every corner, and we stop and we celebrate our community that is full of amazing people. And today we are going to be talking to three of our direct support professionals that have just been great supporters of NuPath and has supported our community during this time. And I'm looking forward to speaking with them. I was not able to attend our Tuesday town hall, but Dan Lannon and Ted Horn did an excellent job of outlining the many particular thoughts and activity that's gone into preparing for our reopening of our day programs, which if you were watching our town hall, you had a chance to see for yourself. But before I get into that, I wanted to just take a moment to share with you an email. Actually, it was a card that I received with a significant donation from Karen and George Meacham. Their son lives in one of our residential programs, and I'm just going to read it quickly. It's short. Dear Dan, I hope you and your family are holding up during these trying times. Your communication with all the NuPath community has been very reassuring as we chart unfamiliar territory, and I appreciate hearing that. We are eternally grateful for the tremendous care that our son Mike received as one of the early COVID-19 cases. In very challenging circumstances, he could not have had a more empathetic, competent staff caring for him. With our closed donation, we would like to honor the following who were essential to Mike's recovery. And then these are the staff they mentioned. Ken Sinibaldi, we've seen him here on this very forum. Faith Nimley, Rob Sawyer, Kristen Valeri, Beth Sheehan, Stephanie Cormier, Kathy Ahern, and Mike Edwards, and many of them, and quite a number of them, have been on previous broadcasts. Karen and George Meacham, thank you. And not to minimize the many other expressions of support that we've received from a growing number of families, I cannot tell you how much it means to me and to this organization and to the staff that do the hard work they're doing every day. This is a time when I know that in many cases our personal relationships may be strained, our lifestyles have been exposed to any number of restrictions and new threats and worries, and we've been, some of us in trapped in environments with people we love, but maybe too much of a good thing sometimes, and so it does take its toll. And as a community, I think recognizing that is important. I used the Meacham's a card and shared it with the staff that they had listed and wanting to recognize. And I wrote an email to them yesterday, but I just wanted to mention one thing. I said I was thanking them for their excellence and extend my most heartfelt gratitude for your positive implementation of organizational values. And we can have, all of these great ideas and these values that we express, but if they're not realized in our programs and to the benefit and to the great value of the people we serve, then they mean nothing. I said, I hope you will all remain healthy and resolute as we move forward. Employees like you are the backbone of this organization and represent a future that I know is bright. And backbone of this organization, and that is a fact. I could be replaced in a heartbeat probably, but the staff that are working every day, that means so much to our families and to the men and women we serve, are just so essential. And so as I prepare to bring our first guest up, I want to just say that to all the staff that are watching today and all of our families, thank you. But to our staff in particular, thank you for your dedication, your unflappable commitment to the work that we're doing in times of stress and sometimes at some peril regarding this pandemic. So I'm really excited to bring Patty Ramosa up to talk to me first. Patty is a bright light at NuPath. There she is. Hi, Patty.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I want to say something to you. When I saw you come up before we began this, I looked at your face. I said, "You have a face. Looks like you were either made up for this perfect moment. I need to get your makeup artist or something. You look lovely. You look like you do this every day. I don't know if you're a professional, professional broadcaster or not, but looks like you could be.
I think
You
I
were.
will.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, to cut you off.
I said I think I'm going to become one.
You could become one. You probably could become anything you want, from what I know of you. You've been with us now for 3 years. It was 3 years in January. And the way I know you is because every time I see you, you always have some bright welcome, some quippy little greeting, some fun thing to say, and you are always smiling. I don't think I've ever seen you not in an enthusiastic position. And you work with some of our tough people, doing some of the coverage that you do. In fact, we had asked you to join our board meeting in March, if you remember. I was going to
Yes.
have you come and to function as our essential connection, what we call our essential connection. And as you know, that kind of that opportunity went out the door when we had to close our programs and with COVID. Talk to us a little bit about what life's been like for you since this all happened. I know that you've been, doing a number of work in some of our houses, but talk to me about what it's been like for you personally. And just is everybody in your home? Have they kept healthy and well? Has anybody gotten sick? Have you been all right?
Okay, so so far being at home, it has been obviously, amazing because you already know I have a 1-year-old baby. And
Hmm.
so life changing because now I get to spend, my whole day with my son, and now I get to work overnight. Um, the family has been great. A couple of months ago, I think it was like 2, 3, I don't really remember. I did get COVID. I did get infected with COVID. It was experience that I don't want to wish to nobody, obviously, because it's you never know if you're going to come out of it good or it's crazy. But so far it has been great. I am extremely grateful for waking up again. I feel like getting COVID, it was a waking up call for me to make changes in my my mentality. It's been you know um, a lesson learned, and it has kept me going more positive. I feel like a new person. Obviously you always see me smiling, always see me in a great mood, but after this, after being sick, after going through all this month being at home, I feel like I've gotten into more into getting myself a lot more, into thinking a lot more on what I could do better, appreciate my job, being thankful for, still having a job during this pandemic. And I feel very happy. And thank you so much for the chance of, letting me come here and talking to you guys. I feel extremely happy. It was very unexpected. Like you said, we were supposed to meet on March for the board meeting, and I was very excited about it. But life life takes changes, and we never know what's going to happen. And like I said, I am very very happy of being here, of talking to you, obviously, because I haven't seen you in a long time.
No,
But
Patty. Sorry. You know what? I want to just say I did. I'm sorry. As soon as I asked that question, how's everything? I remembered being told that you had gotten coronavirus, and it was. I felt just ridiculous asking it. I just would acknowledge it. And sometimes my head is like, it's kind of hard to focus always on the right things. But you, just the thought of we several weeks ago we interviewed 3 employees that had coronavirus, and they shared a little bit with us. Was it awful? I mean, were you like out of commission completely? Like when it did you have respiratory problems, or did it affect you in other ways? I think people may be interested in knowing what that was like for you.
of course, Okay, so at the beginning, obviously, I didn't know it was COVID because it comes with different symptoms and it's just
Yeah.
very hard to know. So I started with, my whole body hurting, headaches. I was extremely tired. Um, it was just more of like headaches and bodies, and it was a lot of pain. Obviously, I did go through like 2 weeks that were very hard. I was having problems breathing. I did go to the hospital. Thankfully, I was not going to stay there. But it was very hard. And one of the hardest things for me was letting my son go because at that time, I had my son here and he was taken away by my family for about 3 weeks, making sure I was fine. And I do remember the first 2 days that he was here, he used to go and knock on my door and he used to cry and he wanted to sleep with me. He wanted to spend time with me because obviously I am a single mom, so I get to spend time with him, like obviously almost 24 hours. Um,
Mhm.
that was the hardest part, my son. And obviously, health wise, it was an obstacle because my body was fighting. My body, um, sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear the notifications on my computer. Sorry. Anyways, um, it was very hard. It was a challenge because my body was fighting it. At the hospital, they didn't give me any type of medication, so it was only me fighting the virus. And obviously, it was at some point I did feel like I was going to pass away because
Oh,
I couldn't get up. I didn't want it to move. I was extremely like I was in pain. I didn't want it to do anything. I did not want it to eat. And it was very hard. And one of the things that kept me motivated and to keep on going was my son, because I used
mhm.
to videos of him playing, and he used to ask for me, and he wouldn't stop asking for me, and that was the hardest part, to
Oh,
not be able to say hi to my son. As many of you know, many go to the hospital not knowing if they're going to come out of the
yeah,
hospital. They're
yeah.
gonna go, and
Mhm.
I didn't know if being in my room, because I was isolated. I didn't know by being in my room, maybe I was gonna come out of it or not, and it was terrifying to know, what was going to happen. And I do remember that at some point, my family, while I was sick, I didn't want it to get up, not didn't want it to eat, nothing. I do remember that one day I got up and my family was yelling out of my window for me to get up, and it was around 4 p.m. and my whole family was outside. It was on a Sunday, and they all wrote notes, little paper notes, and I read them, and they were, "You got this. You're strong. You're going to come out of this. You got a son." And they were all standing outside, with posters in their hands,
Yeah.
telling me, "You got this," because they knew that I was fighting, and they knew that even though it was hard and it was extremely painful, I wanted to keep on fighting. And COVID has COVID, like I was talking to my son, to my boss Mike. COVID was chasing me for a long time. It chased me for about 3 times. Like I got tested about 3 times or 2 times, I think. And with those times, I remember I told my boss, and I told him, "Listen, I feel like I've been, um, around people that had had COVID." And I did remember I make a joke out of it, and I was like, "I think COVID is like a guy chasing a girl. I feel like COVID is chasing me around, and he wants to come with me, and I feel like he wants to date me because he won't leave me alone."
Oh, yeah.
I remember when I tested positive for COVID, I talked to my boss and I said, "I think, COVID finally got to have a chance with me."
Oh,
And it happened. And my boss just started laughing, and it was the funniest joke ever. But I wanted to keep myself positive because the day that I found out that I had COVID, I was crying, I was worried, and I
Oh,
didn't.
well, you know what, Patty, you are somebody, and you can tell by the alerts that you're getting on your computer that that you're beloved. I don't think I get that many emails myself ever. So I'm guessing that there are probably a lot of people that care a lot about you. But you know, you possess a very special quality of just seeming to be very positive about life, and I've thought that about you for a long time, even before I really got to know you a little bit better. And you can never underestimate just what that impact can have on somebody's life, and I will say that from personal experience. A lot of days, I'd come into the office, and maybe I'd been out at meetings all day long, and I had a lot in my head, and I would come into the lobby, and you'd be there with your smiling face, and I just, it helped me kind of forget about myself for a minute. It helped me kind of step out of myself. And I think people that have got a lot of positivity like you, and people that see the glass, half full instead of half empty, and really are optimistic about things, really just brings such an important thing to the world that we live in, especially during this time. And I'm sure there's people out there that are watching right now that, maybe they know you, or they knew you, but they didn't know you had gotten sick, that are probably just amazed that you're sitting here looking so beautiful and so together and smiling, and it's a relief to know that if that COVID was like a guy chasing after I think it sounds like you beat that back. You prevailed in this, and you're the winner in surviving.
Yeah,
So
it was very hard.
So we are preparing to talk about reopening soon, and I imagine that maybe you've been included in some of the details. I don't know if you've been involved in that, but what would you say to people that are thinking about sending their kids back, and if you know a little bit about all of the work that's happened environmentally at NuPath, and in our home office, and what we're trying to do to prepare the way. What would you say to people? Do you think that we could keep their kids safe? This is risky because I don't know what you're going to answer. I hope it's to the positive, but do you have anything to say to them?
Well, obviously, it has to happen. It's not like we can stay, inside 24/7. Nowadays, we are obviously they are reopening here and everything. And all I can say is just stay safe. We have seen other states reopening, but they're also closing again
Mhm.
because they're a lot of people are just taking this as okay, it's over, it doesn't matter anymore. And to be honest, we still need to take care of ourselves. If you're going to go outside, please don't forget your mask, okay, all the time. And don't forget your mask. Always have, your hand sanitizer with you. And to those parents that are going to send, their kids out, obviously as parents, we worry so much about them. We want to take care of them. We don't want them to get out. We want them to be next to us. But there is nothing we can do. The world continues. The time continues. It's not like we can stop it. So all I can say is just, to be careful. Take in mind that a lot of people out there are not being careful, but we need to be careful. Um, we need to obviously pray that this goes away very soon, and to stay safe. If you feel like you're feeling safe, to stay home. I'm pretty sure your bosses, whoever, is going to understand that we're not feeling well, that we need to stay home, and we're doing it for everyone else out there.
Patty, you know what? I think that if parents are watching this today, knowing that you are going to be one of the staff that will be there to greet their sons or daughters as they return, and that you're there to remind any staff that may become complacent of what it means to be sick with this thing and how real it is, that will probably give them some reassurance. It reassures me to know that you're going to be there with your smiley face. Actually, I could probably see your smile even if you had a mask on, because those are the kinds of eyes that you have. But knowing that you're there is going to bring people probably a lot of reassurance. And for one, am so grateful that you're part of this organization. I'm so grateful that you recovered, that you're healthy, and that you're here to help us kind of move forward in the face of this pandemic. Because you're right, we can't, we've got to start moving forward, and we can do it in a careful and a thoughtful and a safe way. We have to do that because safety and the health of people is our number one priority. You're terrific. Thank you so much for coming on today and for talking to us. I hope your son is able to watch maybe later on YouTube if you want to show him his mom being a superstar.
I'm pretty sure he will.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. And I hope very soon we're going to have a board meeting where we all get sit down and have a talk.
I
And
promise you're going to be the first one to be featured when we get back to it. Okay.
I appreciate that. And to all the parents, thank you so much for trusting us as staff. We're doing everything we can to keep your son, like your daughters and your son, safe. And thank you so much for trusting us and having us in your kids' lives. I know it's a very hard time, but we as a staff, we are doing everything we can to keep them safe and to doing everything they need. And I just want to say thank you to all the parents for having their kids at home and letting us come to them to take care of them. I really appreciate that. And like I said, thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And stay safe.
What a joy you are. Thank you, Patty. We'll talk soon. Okay. We'll see you in person next time. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But take care of yourself. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Do you know, see what I mean by the backbone of this organization? I mean, what a love she is. She is a special soul, and it's just um, it makes me really proud to. It really makes me proud to lead this organization when I see joy like that. All right, moving on to our next special guest today is Nahimi Lewis. Nahimi has been with us for just over 2 years, and she has been covering residential shifts at one of our programs in the area. Nahimi, hi.
Hey, how are you?
I mean, we just had the most beautiful staff in town. You look so relaxed and poised and together.
Thank you so much.
And you
Best
got your nails
compliment I've
done.
had today.
You what?
I said this is the best compliment I've gotten today.
I have to look at your nail polish. It said bright yellow. Did you just get that done? It looks
Oh
perfect.
yeah,
I hope
fresh
you did it for the
yesterday.
show. What?
Fresh yesterday, yep.
Hey, you gotta look good. I actually finally got a manicure too. My nails are terrible. Well, you are somebody else that is part of the backbone of this organization. You have worked with some extremely difficult individuals, people that we serve that need, very special sort of attention, guidance and boundaries and all of that. You're somebody that we trust to work in some very behavioral settings and to maintain calm composure, de-escalating situations, because we know that de-escalation is far better than trying to physically intervene if it gets to that. And in one little detail that I heard about you is that you have never missed your time punching in for work. Your time. Is that true? Did I hear that?
Almost like I try to be as perfect as I can with that. But
That
yeah, I
is
do
pretty
I do
amazing.
do my best.
That is pretty amazing because that is a hard thing to remember. In fact, yeah, well, I won't talk about my own experience because trust me, it was not good remembering to do that. But it's so important to, as far as us being able to process payroll and everything. So thank you. I'm sure from HR and from your supervisors and everybody else for doing that. What has this experience been like for you since the beginning, middle of March, when this all started to happen, and since then? How have you managed? How have you dealt with it? Is everybody healthy and well in your family and your life? You've been okay during the past 3-4 months?
So just like, everybody else, once this thing hit, it was just uncertainty. It was, you don't know what's going to happen, when it's going to end, if you're going to contract this, disease yourself. So I can say in the beginning, it was definitely tough because the uncertainty of what's gonna happen, I don't like that at all. Personally, for me, like I like knowing what's gonna happen or knowing how my day is gonna go or stuff like that. So when this first happened, I had to cope myself like many other people. Luckily, everybody in my immediate family has been safe this entire time. Nobody has gotten it. The person I was most scared for was my mom because she works in a nursing home on a COVID floor.
Oh,
So yeah, so um, I was definitely worried about her, but so far so good for her. And I remember I had to go drop something off at her job for her one time, and you should have seen like the getup she was in. Like she had the face shield, she had the covering for her clothes, like down to her feet. Like it was like the Twilight Zone. I was like, whoa, that's how you literally go to work. Um, but luckily she's been safe. We've all been safe. Doing our best, trying to social distance and putting on our masks and stuff like that. And I like, even when I go to the grocery store and stuff, sometimes I'll like forget, like I'll walk out of my car like everything is fine, and then
yeah.
I'm like, wait, my mask, and I
I
have to
know.
get
Yeah.
it. So luckily I always have one in the car, but
Yeah. Yeah, you have to.
yeah,
Naheem,
seriously.
you're at our home office right now. I'm having to be doing this from home today just because I had a couple of other things that I thought would be easier to do from home. But I was there several days earlier this week. Do you want to talk to people about some of the changes you've seen? If you're in the conference room, walking through there, you realize pretty quickly upon entering the building that things are different, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's a whole different place in here. And it's all, precautions for when we do come back, we can social distance and we can do our best to stay safe and have everybody else stay safe. But I just started working back in the building at the front desk covering, calls and stuff, and it was like a whole different scene in here. You walk in and there's a sanitizing station, boom, right in the lobby. Like you can sanitize, hand sanitize. There's a temp station. You take your temp before you can even walk anywhere in the building, just to make sure that you're safe and you can keep other people safe too.
And you have to
Um,
record entry. You have to put your name down, your temperature,
yeah,
what time you came in, and that's all for contact tracing and all the rest. In case anybody did get sick, we would know who maybe came in contact with them. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. So everybody has to sign in, you have to sign out. Um, there's sanitizing stations throughout the building. So like it's like you could turn the corner into another hall and boom, there's a sanitizing station. Or there's a hand sanitizer thing on the wall. Um, and every room has been I had to take a little tour myself to see what was
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
And every room has been set up so that there's social distancing happening at all times. So nothing's too close. People are at least 6 feet apart. The way they set up everything in the rooms and stuff. So it's definitely built for precautions, for when we do get to come back, everybody can stay as safe as possible. There's extra masks. There's you
What
know
What did you think of the screen that's in front of the reception desk now? That like, yeah, pretty
It's
cool,
like a
right?
little plastic screen that
That's all
protects
it is.
you. Yeah, it's like it's wild.
And
It's
did you see
nice
the tent
though.
out back? The big tent?
I haven't actually like gone back there, but when I'm driving by, I can kind of see it out of my like peripheral. So
So
yeah,
that's another way to increase the space, be outdoors and be shaded from the sun or from the elements if it's raining or something like that.
definitely.
And rooms say, and now when you go into a bathroom or anywhere, really, it says what the maximum capacity is. So, like
Yep.
where you are now is in the conference room. I forget, we kind of we're just debating that, but I think the capacity of that is, I don't know if it was 6 or 5 people. And so, really, we're trying to create the opportunity for people to be as far apart from one another as possible. So,
Right. Right.
yeah. you know what, somebody like you, and this may not be accurate, but I'm guessing that if you've been as dedicated to clocking in and clocking out, that tells me that you're probably a person who follows the rules. You're a rules person. You like to do things, the way you're supposed to do. You abide by, sort of, procedure. And I'm guessing that you're going to be a really great person to have around as staff start coming back in, because we need people that take this seriously and that are not going to get, too relaxed or apathetic or be walking around with their masks off or not washing their hands, right? I mean, can I count on
Definitely.
you to be that person? Can you carry a whip and walk around and find the people that are, not
Definitely. In my mind, I already know we're probably like the staff who's going to be in the building. I know we're going to have to do a lot of prompting for clients to, keep their mask over their
yeah.
nose and wash their hands for the full 20 seconds and stuff like that. So, in my mind, I'm already ready to constantly be saying that throughout the day. Because I have to tell myself that throughout the day. Like my mask will fall off sometimes and it gets loose. I'm like, all right, like immediate, like put it back over. So I'm ready to be able to, constantly be saying those words over and over. But it's what we need to do, to keep everybody safe. So
I think a big part of it. You talked about getting out of your car at the grocery store and walking, being like, "Oh, I forgot my mask." I think some of it is just we have to get into new routines. I can't
mhm,
tell you how many times I've walked out of my office when I've been there and walked down the hallway, and there's not a lot of people around yet. But I'm like, oh my God, I don't have my mask. And I go scurrying back, or then I put my coat over my face like that. But, and so it's not that I'm not committed to it. It's just that I needed, I just need to get more routinized in, because we're not used to being in that environment wearing our mask, and I mean, in a grocery store, maybe we're affected by that. But I mean, the first time I walked into the building after people had started coming back, I left my car, walked right in, like was in the lobby, didn't have my mask on. People were like, do you need a mask? I was like, here I am, the CEO, trying to be a good example for people, and I can't remember. So we're gonna be forgiving to some extent, but we really are gonna all have to band together and remind one another, because just because somebody's not wearing it doesn't mean that they're trying to not follow the procedures, but it does mean that we're all human beings, and if we can band together and try to remind one another and try to support our clients to wear them if they haven't been comfortable or familiar wearing them, then that's what it's going to take for us to do that, I think, don't you?
definitely,
Oh
definitely.
my God. Well, you know what? If I'm a parent and I'm watching this and I'm hearing you talk, I'm going to feel so much better about sending my kid in, because and knowing you, the little bit that I do, and how competent you are and how skilled you are when dealing with challenging and difficult situations, I don't think that we could ask for a better sort of staff to be present as we proceed in this very delicate and scary and unknown experience. And I mean, I feel so grateful that you're here with us, and I know that with staff like you, we're going to be able to keep people safe, and we're going to be able to keep this virus back, because we want to reopen, we want to start getting back into some normal patterns of behavior, but we have to do it in a way that keeps people safe. So you
Definitely.
are you're part of the backbone, as I said, of this organization, and I mean that. And we're all counting on you to help us be our best. So you'll do that, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And I won't be the only one. All the staff here is going to be on their game, keeping everybody safe.
We got this, huh?
We got this.
You always say that to me. Well, Nahimi Lewis, you have been fantastic. I appreciate so much your willingness to come on, to talk to our community, to talk to your fellow staff, and to families that may be watching this. And I look forward to seeing your smiling face one of these days when I come in. And my temperature's always low. I'm usually like 96.7 or something. So just
Yeah,
so you
you're always good. You're always good.
know. Okay, Nahimi, thank you so much for being a part of this. And you take care of yourself, okay? We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay. Onward. That was great. And you know, I don't want to be too like overly self-congratulatory because it probably sounds that I am that way. But we've got some terrific staff, and I'm feeling encouraged. Just you know, I haven't been, you know, involved regularly with this incredible work group that has been headed up by Ted Horn and some key members of our team, Karen Franklin, Elder Soros, and others. Um, but when and you can read the plan on paper, but then when you start to see elements of that materializing, when you start to see these, you know, these like space like backpacks with this professional, you know, professional grade sanitizers that we're using, and they're going through, and I was there late, I think it was yesterday, and our Duca cleaning guy came through and you know was doing all the offices, and it's we're really doing this, guys. You know, this is not, you know, sometimes you wonder, you hear all these things, you know, we're gonna do all this cleaning and we're gonna do all this and that, you know, you're wondering, are you really, like, is that really happening? But I can tell you from what I've seen with my own eyes that we really are. And we're gonna do whatever we can to make sure that as people do begin to return to the space, that we are keeping the environments clean and free from the virus. And you know, and nobody's got a crystal ball, but you know, we're just so hoping that, you know, by the beginning, hopefully of next year, sometime we'll be able to start thinking about getting the vaccine for this, and but until that happens, we've got to figure out how to sustain this in a way that's safe and that can start to get people back and out of their homes and into a safe environment for some exposure to some different kinds of stimulation. All right, my third and final guest today is Mr. Joel Fioricano. He works at the Martin Center Dayhab. Many people know Mr. Joel. Joel.
Hey Dan, how are you?
Hi.
How's everything?
I saw you for the first time when we were just, you know, preparing for this. You know, the first time since we went through, since this whole thing came down on us, and you were somebody that it's almost impossible to believe, but have been with us 21 years.
Yeah.
I just want to let that sink in. 21 years.
What's the old saying? They say when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. It's never been truer.
That's right. You know, if you'd had a child when you started, that child would be able to drink in a bar now. Did you ever think of that?
Right? Yeah, man. It's a young 23-year-old kid, green as grass when I started, and here we are 21 years later.
You and I are getting old together because I
Right.
now I forget now, like 16, 17 years, but I've known you since the day. And you know what I remember about you? You probably know what I'm going to say, but the one thing that always stood out to me and that you received all kinds of, you know, accolades for when I started was, you know what I'm going to say? Your attendance. You did not use a sick day.
Yeah.
You did not use a sick day. How many years was it? It had to have been like.
Oh man, it was just over 14 years that I had, you know, gone without calling in sick, and then that one day I woke up and felt like I got hit by a bus and the streak was over.
Well, you know, that's well, thank you for your service and your amazing dependability. But you know, I think this is the time, you know, it's interesting to think about that, because what we're trying to do now, in a way, with COVID, the pandemic and everything, is, you know, we don't want people to be these unnatural heroes and coming in if they're not feeling well, right? I mean, we appreciate people not calling in sick if they're not sick, but people need to know that if they're not feeling well, it is everybody's responsibility to you know, stay home and to make sure, because, you know, unlike any time ever before in our experience, this is something that is so pervasive and so deadly and so dangerous that we have got to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to not pass it along, right? I mean, don't you think?
That actually, I want to say that actually happened with me back in April. I actually was scheduled to come in and cover a shift, realized an hour beforehand that I had a lesser known symptom, talked to Sharon, she said, don't go in, and later that day I tested positive. So just, you know.
You tested positive?
I did.
I did.
Yeah, just being aware. Just being aware is key to just keeping, you know, everybody safe and not passing it along.
But what was your experience like then with the virus?
Truthfully, fantastic. The only symptom I had was I couldn't taste anything. And being Italian, I love to eat, so that drove me nuts. But
That's like a crime when you can't taste
I
it.
couldn't taste anything for a week. And other than that, I felt like $1,000,000.
Wow. Well, your experience is not, typical in that sense. Although, well, I should say that because I mean, one of the things we're hearing from, well, and everywhere really is that it's the younger populations that may get it, not be affected necessarily in a negative way, but still, you can give it to other people that are much more vulnerable and could not have an experience where they feel like $1,000,000. So, wouldn't you think that's true?
So true. It's just, you know, so easy to pass along. And that's like I was saying, just being aware of, the any of the symptoms. If you have anything, just keep in touch with the nurses. Like I did, the first thing I did was call Sharon, and she said, "Yeah, don't
Yeah.
worry about it. We'll get everything all set."
Joel, you typically work at the Martin Center.
Hmm.
You're just a mainstay there. You're like a brand at the Martin Center. And yet, since the closure of the programs, tell us a little bit about what you have been doing, in support of our mission and our services.
I've been helping out at one of our residences, covering shifts, and it's been great. It's a different experience. The guys at the house haven't really had much experience with them before, but they've kind of taken me in as one of their own, and it's great. They know I'm the new kid on the block, so they come to me when they want to try to have a little extra leeway with things. So yeah, it's been fun. I'm enjoying it.
And you probably wouldn't have, originally, maybe you didn't. It wasn't your first desire to. Maybe it took a little bit of effort to take a chance because you're not used to working residential and you'd always work Monday through Friday, nine,
Yeah.
8 to 4, whatever. But did you find the experience to be something that it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be, maybe?
Oh no, I love it. I actually look forward to coming in, getting working with the guys, keeping them busy, programming stuff like that. So I really do look forward to coming in.
You're a big sports fan, and you
Yeah,
I believe you support local teams, if
I
I'm not
do
mistaken.
very faithfully.
And, you're the one that first kind of really got me interested in the little spinners. You're a big fan there, right? I
I
mean,
am
yeah.
correct.
So, when this whole thing is behind us, who knows? Maybe you'll be able to take some of our folks, to some of the games and I
Uh,
mean, share that passion with others.
yeah, it's definitely not a new thing. I've done it with a couple of years ago. I've done it with a couple of our guys from the Martin Center where we've planned nights, and I go pick them up and head up to night out at the ballpark, and it's been a great night. It's a lot of fun.
I am maybe I'm just a little bit prejudiced here, but when I see you, the third of three of our direct support professionals, your smile, your attitude, it just exudes from you. You are such a source of encouragement to so many people, to me included. Whenever I would come over to the Martin Center, I'd see you, a big smile. You're
Oh, I
always
hope so.
this go-to can-do kind of guy, and I just think that just speaks such volumes about um, the quality of people that we try to hire, and the fact that you've been with us for so long. I mean, I would think you wouldn't stay someplace if you didn't feel like it was a fairly decent place to work. And
Oh,
to me personally, have been somebody that I've always enjoyed talking to, and feel like I've developed a real kind of a personal appreciation for. And I just want to thank you so much personally and on behalf of the organization for your decades of service and for standing with us during this tough time and for being one of our heroes that's out there working in our residential programs. And I just could not be happier than I am with
no,
all you've done.
definitely. Thank you guys for letting me stick around this time and do my thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, in 21 more years, maybe we'll be able to, both retire. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Joel Vircano, thank you so much for being part of this today, and I wish you
Thank you.
well and good health
Thank you for the invite.
in real life sometime soon, okay?
Definitely.
All right.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Thank you. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have it. Three of our outstanding direct support professionals, three among hundreds that we enjoy here at NuPath and that I'm so proud of. And I thank them all for being a part of this today. Before we close, I do feel the need to, because I couldn't do it on Tuesday, to share with you just where we are statistically speaking on where we are with the pandemic. And it's great to pull up the slide. So we've done this pretty consistently week over week, and I was able to do it on Tuesday. But for Massachusetts, we are now up to 8,368 deaths. That's up 170 from the previous week. But I want you to just notice that the week before that, the increase had been 198 deaths. So by number of increases week over week, we had fewer deaths this past week. United States, we are up to 138,358. That's an increase of over nearly 6,000 deaths from the previous week. And in the case of the United States, that increase is higher than it was the previous week. So I want you to just focus on that for a minute and understand what I'm saying. So in Massachusetts, we had nearly 200 deaths a couple of weeks ago. This past week, less than that. But in the United States, we are increasing in the number of deaths from where we were a week ago. And in the global scene and situation, we're over 500,000 people dead from this virus, an increase of 44,760 from the previous week. And the week before that, when we looked at the figures, the increase was just 30, not just because 33,278. It's a lot of people dead from this, a lot of parents, a lot of grandparents, a lot of loved ones that are gone from this earth. Why do I focus on this? Because I think that without data and without looking at it, staring at it, we cannot appreciate the devastating toll that this virus has had on so many communities and so many lives. And as we continue to follow what I consider the very thoughtful and thus far successful and effective leadership that we've received from Governor Baker and Mary Lou Sudders and so many others that are helping us kind of plot our course, and as it trickles down to the city and town and regional level and to our own organization with people like Sharon Pitts and her amazing team of nurses. We've got to remain vigilant, and I will say it again and again and again until you're sick of hearing it, but then I'll say it some more. We have to keep one another safe. We have to keep the people we support safe. We have that responsibility to the parents that trust us. We heard it earlier today from Patty and everybody, and another said it, and that's our commitment to our greater community. So let's keep focused. Let's not get complacent. And as sick as we are wearing masks, as sick as we are washing our hands and using sanitizer, all the other things we need to do, we must continue to do it. And together we will get through this. We got this, guys. We got this. I have full confidence. And after hearing from those amazing three direct support professionals, backbone of this organization, I am convinced that I'm right in telling you that. So be safe, guys. Wash your hands, wear your masks, use sanitizer, and hopefully be seeing you very soon, okay? Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.